was one of my best ones. Welcome to Beyond the Game on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am Jacob Volk. Sitting across from me, Dominic Arbolino, Eric Fischetti, and Nick Ornberger. Guys, what's good?
Have you been outside?
Nothing.
Yes, I have.
It is amazing.
It is a great day for golf, a great day for baseball.
Let's play too.
It finally feels like spring.
Also, I don't mean to be rude, but how is that your best one? It sounds the same.
I just kind of like it.
You are very consistent.
No,
He's not wrong.
I'm saying it's like in a consistent way, not being mean to him. I'm saying that like it's the same thing every time. So it's like
Jake, what he's trying to tell you is you are consistently the best.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
You're like the Patriots.
Thank you.
That's exactly where
I'm
I
like
go.
the Patriots.
Yes, you're just like the Patriots.
I'm the Patriots of sports talk radio.
So I definitely don't like you.
Yeah, I was going to say, so now you're cheating. Now you're cheating.
That was good. The number to call if you have something on your mind is 516. You guys going to be the death of me. 572-7440. And let's just get right into basketball. The Knicks fired Jeff Hornacek this year. They went 29-53, and in his tenure there, they went 60-104. Eric, what do you think of him being fired?
Let me just get this out of the way now. I don't hate Jeff Hornacek, the coach. I just don't think it was the right fit for him. But I went back in Knicks time, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what side you're on.
You're just a sucker for pain.
Honestly, yeah, that's why I'm a Knicks and Islander fan. But, so I have a lot of names right here, and I just want to go through it, if you'll indulge me.
Yeah, sure.
Don Cheney, Herb Williams, Lenny Wilkins, Herb Williams again, Larry Brown, Isaiah Thomas, Rip, Mike D'Antoni, Mike Woodson, Derek Fisher, Kurt Rambis, and Jeff Hornacek.
There are a lot of bad coaches there for the Knicks.
Since 2002.
That's since 2002?
He is the 11th head coach since 2002.
In 16 years.
Yep.
And you know what? I put a star right next to Herb Williams, as in he had the best record out of all of these guys.
No, Herb Williams was a decent coach for the Knicks.
He was 1-0.
Yeah. No, but wait a minute. Didn't he come back a second time?
Yes, he did. But in terms of Knicks history, he's 1-0. So he's got the best winning percentage.
Yeah.
But Mike Woodson, I put a star next to him as well. He had the best regular season in recent memory since 2002 with the 54-game winning season. Just the only thing is like they seem to be in such this purgatory in terms of New York Knicks because they have certain groups of talent around them. They just can't execute. Like the thing is, you had a relatively good team last year with Carmelo Anthony, Kristaps Porzingis, Derrick Rose, and Courtney Lee, and a bunch of role players, and you just can't finish the job. I think you need a guy with, honestly, an iron fist.
Yeah.
And someone that's been there, someone that can lay down the law. And at one point, that was supposed to be Mike D'Antoni. But then he resigned in the middle of, I believe, his second or third season, and then in comes Mike Woodson, and he's the guy with the iron fist. He's the guy that brought the Knicks to their best record in recent memory with the 54-game winning season, and unfortunately ran into the Indiana Pacers, who they could have beat. And they would have met the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But then...
don't feel bad. They would have lost to the Heat.
Yeah, well, it's a great way to lose at that point.
Yeah.
When you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, it's something that they need.
It was like in Jason Kidd's 1 year as net head coach. They lost to the Heat in 5 games.
But the thing is, the thing that I'm trying to say is the Knicks can be so good if they have the right people around them. But again, it's easier said than done, and it's the Knicks, so who knows? They're kind of like a team that can't get out of their own way. So to be honest with you, Scott Perry and Steve Mills came out and said they want the next head coach to bring back, and I'm going to paraphrase, this kind of bullying culture, as in terms of like the late 90s, early 2000s New York Knicks.
Well, Pat Riley isn't walking through that door.
But you know who could be? You know who could be?
Who's that?
Jeff Van Gundy or Mark Jackson.
Let me ask you a question, because I've seen that link to the Knicks a bunch of times. Do you really think that they're going to leave their cushy national TV job for the Knicks?
Honestly, I feel like out of both of them, I feel like Mark Jackson would.
Okay.
Yeah, that I can see more.
Because he's been linked to saying, hey, I would love, to come back and coach the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau came out and said, I would crawl back to Madison Square Garden if I ever got the chance to coach the Knicks. And honestly, he's one of the few. And you know what? It's kind of like a name that you need to have to give hope to such a crippling fan base.
We do have a caller on the line. It's Richie from Shirley. Richie, how are you, buddy?
Guys.
Doing good. What's going on?
Listen, you can't blame Hornacek for all this nonsense that went on. Porzingis got hurt. He had to deal with Joe Nova. and Hardaway got hurt. You know what? This guy was like a sitting duck.
Yeah.
It really, you can't blame it all on him.
No,
and
but
I heard Nick last night on the radio last night.
Yes, you did.
I would have heard. I definitely would. I'm up with you. I would trade Porzingis.
Thank you.
Trade him.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you agreeing with that because
wait a minute.
I'm going to tell you. Well, let me explain what he's talking.
You would trade Kristaps Porzingis?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you right now that I agree with you. Mark Jackson was the right coach. He's the right coach. 2 years ago. 3 years ago. It is far too late for him to fix the problems that the Knicks have right now, and I don't think that him coming in here is going to fix anything, quite frankly. And you already have bad blood with Porzingis in the organization. He's made.
Is it bad blood with Porzingis in the Knicks?
It was Phil Jackson, of course. Exactly. But who hired him? Who backed him? Dolan kept him here. So why? So you would make the assumption. You could possibly make the assumption that KP has a problem with Dolan. And if I'm him,
you're making a big assumption.
I'm making a big assumption. But if I'm him, I don't want to play for the Knicks. I don't want to play under this scrutiny.
Next year he can walk. Do it, not the following.
He absolutely can. Not this coming
Well, he's a
year.
restricted free agent coming up,
right.
So the Knicks can match whatever offer comes his way.
I have a question, though.
Let me ask you guys a question. If you're like Mark Jackson or what's his name from
Villanova?
Yeah,
Jay Wright.
Jay Wright.
Yeah. Would you come here to the Knicks the way they treat the coaches?
Definitely not from Villanova. I'll tell you that. Jay Wright has it too good up there.
I think that's a pipe dream, by the way.
Mark Jackson, I don't think.
Whoever they got to sign, they got to give him 5 years. That's what you need.
I mean, they gave Phil 5 years. He didn't even last. I mean, you raise a good point with what kind of a coach the Knicks will be able to get. They're not going to get a top-flight head coach.
No, they're not.
They're just not. You're going to have to set your sights lower to Jerry Stackhouse, David Fizdale.
I heard Jason Kidd name mentioned.
You don't want Jason Kidd, let me tell you.
I heard the Fizdale thing. I don't hate that.
Yeah, Fizdale is actually pretty well respected around the league.
I think he's linked to the Hornets.
Fizdale to the Hornets could happen.
How about bringing back Van Gundy? What do you think about him?
I don't think he would leave.
You don't think so, right?
I think he's too comfortable sitting next to Mike Breen. I really do. No, because what happens is these coaches go into these broadcasting roles and they get too comfortable there, so they don't want to leave.
How much do you think Jackson makes a year? Over $1 million?
Oh, I'm sure over $1 million.
Easy, right?
Yeah, no question about that. I'm sure they spend a lot of money on him, Mike Breen, and JVG.
And well less scrutiny and way less work, quite frankly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't like JVG as a broadcaster, but...
You know what? What does Dolan care? If the Garden sold out, he's making money.
That was the point. That was the point that was made last night. He doesn't care as long as he's making money. He doesn't care what this team looks like, and it's frustrating to every Knicks fan who goes into the Garden any night and watches them get absolutely. It's frustrating. It's gone on for too long, and I'm exhausted by it.
But they're losing a lot of money. They're not in the playoffs. That's big money for them being in the playoffs.
It is, and they
but they sell out the Garden a lot, and I'm not saying it's all fans, but like. A lot of them are possibly tourists.
They're all, I mean, not all, excuse me.
Most
a lot of them are tourists. Yes. Coming in to see a show. It
doesn't matter. He's still getting the money.
So he doesn't care.
No.
And that's the problem.
James Dolan only cares about the Rangers. He doesn't care about the Knicks.
All right, guys, I want to let you know, it's a sad situation, and I don't see no outlook in the future doesn't look bright at all.
No, definitely not. All right, Richie,
guys,
take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was a very good call from Richie from Shirley. You know, it kind of brings up an interesting question, though. Who do you really think, forget about your Knick fandom, who do you really think is going to be the next head coach of the Knicks? Gun to your head. Who do you think gets it?
Fizdale.
Mark Jackson.
You really think Jackson?
I really do. I really do feel like he wants to get back into coaching. And the Knicks fan, I'm disregarding my fandom and just going off what I see. The Knicks fan wants to see a familiar name. Like that. Like honestly, this fan base needs a spark. And honestly,
but look at it from Jackson's end, though. He is so comfortable in that broadcasting booth. Would he leave for the Knicks job?
Honestly, I think he will if he thinks he can turn it around.
Okay. I mean, listen, it's a fair assumption to make. He's a local guy. And Dominic just texted me some very bad news about my fantasy team. Josh Donaldson is on the 10-day DL.
Ooh.
I got to pick up a third baseman.
Yep.
You know who's available in my fantasy league? Evan Longoria. I may pick him up.
That's not a bad idea.
You know what? I may do that. I'll tell you what. You guys talk about the next story. I'm going to see if I can pick up Evan Longoria.
Can I just like touch on something that Nick just said?
Oh,
honestly?
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Porzingis.
Yes.
You said you would trade him?
Right now, Yes, and I'll tell you why.
I would have a hard time
and it's
doing
not
that.
just Porzingis, and I know you'd have to deal with a you-know-what storm from trading him. But there's value there. There's teams that would want him, and there's players out there, big players, who would love to have him on their team.
But Porzingis is the only reason that the Knicks are semi-competitive, though.
Were they competitive, though? I mean, look at this year. Were they competitive?
Before he was hurt, they were decent.
They were okay, but this isn't what we expected. This wasn't what the season was supposed to be.
What did you expect? Did you expect playoffs?
I expected it. I expected there to be meaningful games at the end of the year. Yes, I expected there to be meaningful games to be playing for an 8 or a 7 seed. I did.
I certainly didn't. I'll tell you that.
Look, it's hard to bank against injuries. Like, obviously, there are Knicks fans that say, oh, if Porzingis didn't get hurt, if Hardaway didn't get hurt, and the team still performed the way that they did, plus with those two guys healthy for the whole season,
I hate when
there's
people
a chance.
say that.
Right, and honestly, it's kind of ignorant. But basically, they basically said if Porzingis was healthy the whole year, if Hardaway was healthy the whole year, this team could have been a playoff team.
Yes, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and that's
exactly.
great.
They wouldn't have been a playoff team if everyone stayed
And also,
healthy.
that can be said
close.
for anything, any drafts or stuff like that. Like you
Hell,
think
the Nets could have been competitive if Jeremy Lin stayed healthy.
like, oh, what if they signed LeBron instead of him going back to the Cavs? Like, yeah, all right, it could have happened,
We'll
but
never
it definitely didn't. So
you would need an arm and a leg to consider trading Porzingis. It's not crazy. We heard the rumors last year. I'm just surprised to hear a Knick fan endorse it.
Here's the thing.
I would have.
I know, and I don't like saying it. I don't like saying it.
I believe you.
I don't want him gone. I just feel like it's too late. In a couple years, he might be going somewhere else anyway. So I look at it right now. Where do you have value on this team?
Wait. Go back to what you just said. He's not going to leave. He's a restricted free agent.
But that doesn't mean that he has to sign any contract that comes on. He's going to get offered. And if he signs
and the
an
Knicks
offer
have the right to match it.
And they obviously do. Or he could decline any offer sheet he's offered and just sign with the Knicks. And it does not have to be long term.
Yes. So either way, he's coming back to the Knicks.
At least for the next 2 years. I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you.
So I'm missing your point.
My point is that by the time this team is ready to compete, how many years have we put into Kristaps Porzingis? Where is he at in his career? We have value now. We have draft picks now. And if we double up on that, like the Celtics did, it now might be an opportunity where you have a few guys, even a guy like Burke right now who has value, trade it all away and just get picks and build from within again.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying, and I hate saying this word, but I'm saying I want to process. I want to do what the Sixers did. I want that.
See,
look,
the thing
it worked for the Sixers. That's the thing.
Give Brian Colangelo a lot of credit.
The thing that stinks for the Knicks fans is that they're kind of now what you're trying to say is that they do that fast rebuild that I keep bringing up. I've been bringing up for a lot. With the Seahawks, plenty of teams, whatever. They're doing this fast rebuild, so they're better in 2 years instead of making it last 4 or 5 years. But what stinks for Knicks fans is that it's hard to admit that to have that next 2 year process because it's been a rebuild process
for
so long. Exactly.
It's been for 16 years, basically.
Honestly, since they traded Ewing.
Yeah, exactly.
The curse.
And there's one final point I want to hit on with the Knicks in regards to why Jeff Hornacek got fired. And obviously you guys can answer this more in depth than I can, being a Net fan. But I feel like the final nail in Hornacek's coffin was the failure to develop Ntilikina and the failure to develop Willie Hernan-Gomez. Yes, he developed Trey Burke. Yes, he developed Michael Beasley to a certain extent. But those are the wrong guys to develop.
Yeah.
Do you want to build around...
Did Hornacek develop Burke, or did the G League develop Burke?
That is a fair point. That's a very fair point to make. The point I'm making is he got production out of the wrong players. Because Ntilikina had a horrible rookie year. The opportunity was there for him to be good.
I feel like Ntilikina came around, but obviously too little, too late.
Jury's still out.
Yeah, it's still out. It's still
I'm not saying I would trade him. What I'm saying is he was a huge disappointment.
Yes, but like the last couple of games, like you saw production, like he had more confidence in his three-point shot. You saw him driving to the paint a lot more, where a lot of times he was tentative. So basically, in a lost season like this, which has been obviously far too many if you're a Knicks fan, and for the Knicks franchise, you find the little things to get excited about. One of them is Trey Burke. The other one, in years past, like a couple of years ago, was the development of Kristaps Porzingis and what could be. Obviously, this injury is a setback. So now what you got to look forward to is, what is Frank Ntilikina? Who's the next head coach going to be? Basically, what is Scott Perry and Steve Mills' plan? We have no idea. But the thing is, like, this team has been in limbo for so